In this video, we'll tour the Manhattan apartment of the legendary Iris Apfel, who enjoyed a decades-long career in the fashion and interior decor industries. Apfel, or as she liked to call herself, the geriatric starlet, was an iconic fashionista, decorator, and interior designer who became popular in 2005, following the show Rara Avis by the New York Metropolitan Museum. She had a flamboyant style that she was not afraid to share with the world, whether it was in her colourful and layered clothing or the vibrant and maximalist design of her apartment. But her style and way with colours, textures and fabrics made her a highly sought-after interior designer. With clients like the White House on her roster, Apfel was not shy about expressing the full extent of her personality and style inside her own home, turning her Manhattan apartment into a bold statement of who she was. She shared her apartment with her husband, businessman Carl Apfel. The two had owned a textile called Old World Weavers that sought to replicate the historical fabrics that were becoming rarer to find in flea markets. Iris, a New York native, shared an apartment with her husband at 480 Park Avenue. The building housing their apartment is located just 2 blocks away from Central Park. Built in 1929, the building was designed by Emery Roth and features 134 apartments spread over 19 stories. The Park Avenue apartment has access to some of the most coveted restaurants, shopping centres, and cultural attractions. Inside their apartment buildings, Iris and her husband had access to shared amenities like a gym, a landscaped roof, laundry, and storage facilities. They lived in a 3-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment with 10-foot high ceilings, a wood-burning fireplace, a service entry, and elevator access, including semi-private vestibules. Iris was a maximalist designer, and her apartment clearly proves that. From her front door to her master bedroom, her home is tastefully furnished with art antiques, fabrics, and art she collected throughout her world tours, including her numerous European shopping tours. The common features present for all apartments at 480 Park Avenue ended at Iris's door. A burst of colours, each fighting for attention but working harmoniously, invites you into her apartment. At the front door, she had a Baroque console flanked by 2 stone pedestals on which she piled her art books. Above this console, she hung a chinoiserie mirror. The hallway leading to other rooms in the house is just as colourful, featuring shelves of books she collected over her lifetime. The shelves are painted green with patterned borders in a darker colour combined with gold. Above these bookshelves are additional books and sculptures. In terms of decorations, the corridor space features several 18th and 19th century dog portraits and mirrors. On the floor of the hallway is a patterned floral carpet. Her living room is an explosion of colour, art, fabrics, and antique furniture. Her living room had a fireplace flanked by 2 identical chests of drawers, on which Iris kept an assortment of figurines, trinkets, and lampshades. Beside each of these chests, Iris stood identical 20th century gilded metal sculptures, featuring a dolphin with an open mouth sitting on the pedestal. The sculpture then rises in a frond with curling leaf motifs. Above the fireplace is a rectangular 19th century Italian flint wood mirror, featuring a scrolling foliate frame. On the mantel of the fireplace, Iris displayed 4 sculptured candle holders. She also had an assortment of furniture inside the living room, most of which were auctioned following her death. Some of the pieces include a 19th or 20th century Louis XV style chaise lounge with a curved back covered in claret-coloured silk upholstery, a 20th century Louis XVI style daybed covered in a woven ikat, a modern hexagonal ottoman with incurved sides upholstered in a patterned black and brown chenille. A suite of 19th or 20th century seats consists of 2 small chaises and a fauteuil upholstered in a voided polychrome velvet. A 19th or 20th century French giltwood floor screen features 4 painted panels. These panels depict clothed monkeys, floral garlands, scrolling foliage, and berry branches. A 19th or 20th century 6-panel painted leather floor screen thought to be of Dutch or Spanish origin. She places floor screen bedding on one of her chaise lounges in the living room. Her living room chaise lounges and sofas are packed with multicoloured and pattern throw pillows of varying sizes and shapes, adding to her eclectic style. Her living room features bleached oak panelling, but she added her own artwork and pieces to the walls to turn them into her unique space. Among the art pieces she hung in her living room was a 17th century portrait of Margarita Theresa, who was once the Queen Consort of Germany. In this portrait, she is wearing a red and silver silk gown, a bejeweled stomacher, and red ribbons tied in bows along the length of her pigtails. Like most pieces in our home, this piece had a story behind it. According to Iris, she bought the painting during one of her early shopping trips to Florence. She fell in love with the portrait the first day she saw it, but the owner told her it had already been sold to another. Unable to get the painting out of her mind, she returned to the shop the next day and convinced an attendant to sell her the portrait. Other art pieces in her living room included a 19th or 20th century watercolour portrait of a Maltese, an L. Robert portrait of Marza, a Maltese. Iris hung this portrait in her hallway. Mirrors were another core part of her decor, from the plain arched mirror in one corner of the living room to more elaborate pieces like the one she hung above her fireplace. Her mirror collection included a 19th or 20th century George II carved mirror. This piece is a reversed painted mirror featuring a pierced giltwood chinoiserie frame. The sides of the mirror are flanked by ho-ho birds clutching on trailing birds and topped by a pagoda. The painting on the mirror depicts mountains, figures, and other chinoiserie motifs. Iris was also an avid collector of animal figurines. She displayed some of her unique pieces in her living room. One that stands out is a standing sculpture of a terrier, thought to be a 19th or 20th century piece. In the arms of this terrier is a pewter tray on which Iris placed her assortment of bangles, necklaces, and miniature eyeglasses. Monkeys and dogs are a recurring theme in her art. She kept several figurines and sculptures of these animals, including a curved white monkey sculpture on a rock. On the head of this monkey is a small table on which she would place a potted plant whose foliage covered the head of the monkey. Beyond her animal figurines, her Manhattan apartment featured various ceramic and porcelain collections she had gathered from her travels. Some of these pieces included a pair of French cylindrical ceramic vases decorated in Japanese-inspired style. They feature artwork including phoenixes, birds, and flowering trees. Inside these vases, Iris displayed her carved giltwood lotus flowers. She kept these vases on a console just beneath her beloved portrait of Margarita Theresa. On another console, she displayed a 20th century Japanese vase that she kept filled with fresh flowers. The ceramic vase is a piece of art featuring raised images of vases, teapots, animal figures, bowls, and boxes in varying patterns and colours. A tour of Iris Apfel's Manhattan apartment would be incomplete without mention of her iconic fashion collection. Unsurprisingly, according to a documentary about her, Iris had multiple rooms dedicated to her clothing. Her closets make the most use of space with their double height rods to accommodate her extensive collection. Like the rest of her art, her clothes and jewelry were an extension of herself, and another way she shared her exuberant personality with the world. Her clothing and jewelry were colourful and packed with personal stories behind them. Some she collected while at work, while others were pieces she picked up in her travels around the world. Some of her jewelry pieces include Ashanti-style goldstone jewelry, animal pendants thought to be of Chinese origin. They include a butterfly, a frog, and two fishes. 21st century Fulani earrings, Indian hinged bangles, Chinese torque necklace, a Bulgarian leather belt. The clothing, jewelry, art, and collections Iris Apfel owned inside her Park Avenue apartment barely scratched the surface of what this icon had collected in her 101 years on Earth, more than 80 of which she spent in her career as an interior decorator and fashion icon. Some of the art, jewelry, clothing, and furniture were listed for sale in an auction by Christie's, dated 28th of January to the 13th of February 2025. Iris Apfel leaves behind a legacy of authentic style, the choice to fully embrace the chaos and beauty of personal expression and decorate our living spaces to reflect that. Her maximalist style is a true expression of her personality. That's it for today's video. Let us know your thoughts below. What do you think of Iris's decorating style? And don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more content on your favourite celebrities' homes.